Hi, my name is Kevin Itima. I'm a commercial real estate broker who focuses on multifamily properties. I work with Realty, and we're here at the University CoWork today to talk about investing in real estate. What are some key takeaways? What are some pros? What are some cons? And hopefully we can give everybody some good information to get them started today, right now. Your numbers, your area, and type of property are huge. What happens if you've ever looked on Zillow or any one of these sites for property, you see there's a ton of properties. They pop up all the time, right? And by the time you're over there calculating, figuring out, well, is this right for me or this right for me? It's not right for me, it's already gone. Who's experienced like wanting to go look at a property and tell you they've already bought it, right? You need to understand what your numbers are off the bat. So you can know, so you don't want to waste time trying to figure out, well, if this is right for me or not. Once you know your numbers, you can go in, take a look, and say yay or nay on the actual property, right? What area do you want to be in? Chicago is huge, right? My first multifamily property was actually bought in Atlanta. I'm from Houston, Texas, right? So I was kind of all over the place. I just ended up lucking up, right? But you want to figure out what area has the type of price points you want, the type of returns that you want, and focus in on that area. Right? Don't overstress yourself trying to look throughout the entire city of Chicago. It takes forever, right? Price point that you purchase a property at is where you make your money at. You're not going to be able to skimp out on construction costs. The market isn't going to change for you overnight. You need to make sure you're acquiring the property at the right price. How are you figuring that out? I know if you've been on the MLS, if you've been on the market, you see properties are at a high point, right? You're trying to figure out how are these people getting these properties at such a cheap rate? Well, I'll tell you, they're typically not going on the market. They're either doing direct mail, right? Maybe they're going to neighbors' doors, knocking on them, right? Some people are doing internet advertising. But you gotta think about it, right? Who is looking to sell their property for less than it's worth? Usually people who've bought it way back in the day, don't have any debt on it. Maybe it's a property that's not in great condition, right? Maybe they're older, they're looking to retire and get out of the property itself. So when you're thinking about those types of things, how are you going to make sure you are the person that they're getting in contact with to actually purchase their property, right? That's a very, very big deal. Without getting the right acquisition costs, your real estate investment dreams are never going to take off, right? You need to make sure you're getting at the right price point. So buy and hold, if that investment is already ready to go, it's already cash flowing, of course it's going to be at the higher price point. Some people who already have, a well-positioned portfolio, they're just looking for something to park their money into. That's your buy and holds. Your add value, maybe it needs to be update the bathrooms, the kitchens, a new facade or something like that. Or you can buy at a cheaper price point, do the work yourself, and now you have an add value. You can raise rents, it's gonna appraise for more, things of that nature. New construction, just like it sounds, right? You get to lot, you build on it, and then you have a property that you can sell at the very top of the market, or you can land bank. So again, I've always liked the add value. It's the safest for me. I've done new construction, lost a lot of money in new construction. So when I start off with flips are easy, right? You go in there, you change some carpet out, you change some windows. Very deceitful, like you think, oh, I can make this type of money all the time. The thing about flips are, when an area is hot, you have a ton of people swarming in on it. So pretty soon, those types of cheap properties to buy up kind of disappear. Lots, because it's a lot easier to do new construction, it's a lot less competition. So it starts looking very, very, very attractive. Well, I can just buy a lot and build on it. There are a lot of pitfalls in new construction, right? So if you're starting out, new construction is not something that I would say take a gander on. Like, you want to make sure that if you're going to be doing new construction, either you're a GC yourself or you have a very close relationship with a GC. And we all know that even if you have a close relationship with a GC, that does not mean things change. Okay? If you're doing a hold, is there a rental cap? How are the reserves? Because if the reserves aren't that great, it's going to be very hard to sell it on the back end. Right? So you want to make sure you're getting that kind of information up front before getting into the flip or holding it as a rental. Airbnb. So I had 2 new construction projects that I finished and we couldn't get them sold, so we did Airbnb. Right? And the reason why we chose Airbnb was because our market rents were going to be less than what we could actually Airbnb it out for, right? So that's the reason why we chose to go ahead and Airbnb. So if you're Airbnb-ing a property and you can just rent that property out monthly for the same thing, it's really not a point. There's no point in doing it because Airbnb is labor intensive. Somebody's got to clean it, Somebody's got to bring in new whatever. There's always something going on. The wear and tear on the building is a whole lot, right? It's just like a hotel. You got people coming in and out, in and out. So when you're looking at your numbers, if you can rent that property out for $1,500 and after a month your Airbnb is only going to get you $1,500, you probably should just go ahead and rent it out, right? But in our case, because it was a large building, we were able to Airbnb for about 3 times more what the market rents were. In Chicago, there have been some new rules and laws. There's a 4.5% hotel accommodation tax. You do have to have, if you're classifying it as a vacation rental or a bed and breakfast, you do have to get that license. You have it also register as a shared housing unit. So those are some things you want to put into your costs. And you know when the city gets involved, always, always, always do the right thing, right? Do not cut corners, because it's sooner or later it's going to come back and bite you in the butt. So make sure that you're doing things the proper way. So your 4-unit multifamily. So this is actually should be 2 to 4 units, right? So this is a really, really popular one, and it's honestly my favorite, especially if you're just starting out, right? Finding a property between 2 to 4 units. Now, 2 to 4 units, you can get a residential loan, right? Which means you can put down as little as 5%. You can get in there. You can get a 2 or 3K loan, renovate if necessary, and then you can actually have somebody paying your mortgage. And if you run the numbers right, you should actually be getting a return on it. But even if you're not, right, you're having somebody pay your mortgage for you, right? And typically in those loans, you'll have to live in the house for maybe 2 to 5 years. But what you would be leaving with is a home with some equity in it. So if you decide to sell, that could be what gets you into your next multifamily property. That could get you into your next flip or whatever the case may be, but it's a great way to get started if you're low on actual capital.
Kevin was a great speaker, very clear, very thorough. The reason for me coming to this class today was I wanted to learn a little bit more about commercial real estate. Kind of want to transition from multi-units to something larger. This is a great place, business place in Woodlawn. Come and check it out, meet the people, network.
I just learned a lot about the different ways to invest, whether it be multifamily, single family, commercial, some of the benefits and some of the risks. All the information he gave, though, was very clear and concise on just the pros and cons of different approaches. And today I am ready to go and do some research on a multifamily property. And after the session, he also provided me with some other professionals that he has connections to. So I'm gonna reach out to them and see if they can assist me with this project.
Something that I would say I took away from today is just not just jumping straight into things and being so excited just to run and jump into a property, really looking at the market and finding out what I would be what best fits me. I really learned a lot from Kevin, and I'm really excited to get started in my investment career.
I came today to learn more about investing in real estate and see if I wanted to go back into that area once but I really brought my daughter to look at it and look at investing in a different way other than going out to get an apartment. So now it opened her eyes to a better look at financial futures and things of that nature. So, my takeaway is that it made me want to get back into real estate again, to see and get my feet wet to see if I can really do this again and do it the right way versus the wrong way.
Just had an amazing lunch and learn with some motivated individuals who are looking to start their real estate investing. We talked about some great investments in the multifamily sphere out here in the South Side, what some of the price points are and what some of the average cap rates are. We also covered a few things like condo conversions, and we talked about Airbnb rentals as well, which seems to be a very, very hot topic. I know they got some valuable information, and I can't wait to see what their first real estate investment is going to be. Don't miss out on the next Lunch and Learn here at the University CoWork next month. Hope to see you there.